There comes a moment when the quiet one stops smiling, when the listener, the caretaker, the one who always understands, finally feels something they can't swallow anymore. That moment when their body says no, not softly, but with fire. The empath who has spent years absorbing the storms of others suddenly feels the thunder building inside. And for the first time, it isn't guilt, it's anger. But not the kind of anger that destroys, the kind that awakens. You've probably known that kind of silence, the one that doesn't mean peace but suppression. You keep forgiving people who don't even ask for forgiveness. You smile when you want to scream. You say, "It's okay," while your chest aches with words you never said. You confuse love with tolerance. You think patience is healing. But maybe what you've been calling forgiveness was really just fear. Fear of being too much. Fear of being left alone. Fear of becoming like the people who hurt you. And then, one day, you break. Not loudly, not with violence, but with truth. That's the day you stop carrying everyone else's pain, as if it were your own. The day your kindness grows teeth. The day your compassion learns boundaries. That's when healing begins, not in softness, but in sacred rage. The rage that doesn't come to destroy, but to restore the balance that was broken. The rage that says, "I will not abandon myself anymore." Because here's what no one tells you. Sometimes anger is love demanding respect. Sometimes fury is the soul saying, "Enough." Carl Jung once said, "The thing we most need will be found where we least want to look." And for the empath, that place is anger, the one emotion we were taught to fear. But anger isn't the opposite of love. It's the defender of it. If you've ever felt like your kindness became a cage, this is for you. If you've ever felt drained by the people you tried to heal, this is your mirror. And if you've ever wondered what happens when the empath finally gets angry, stay with me. Because in this story, you'll find what happens when your softness learns to roar. What happens when your light stops apologizing for burning? And what happens when the heart that has always carried others finally comes home to itself? Take a deep breath. Let's walk through it together. And if this space already feels like home, make sure you stay. Subscribe, like, share, not for numbers, but for connection. Because sometimes healing begins in the places where someone finally puts words to what you've always felt. There's a strange ache that comes before awakening, a pressure in the chest that feels like grief, but it's not quite grief. It's the weight of everything you swallowed instead of speaking. The years you kept the peace, even when it tore you apart. You became fluent in silence, didn't you? You learned how to make yourself smaller so others could feel bigger. You learned to smile while your soul screamed. You became the safe place for everyone but yourself. You thought it was love. You thought that being good meant being quiet. But the truth is, your soul has been whispering for years, "I am tired of being kind at my own expense." And then it happens, something small, something ordinary. Maybe a friend takes advantage of your patience again. Maybe your partner dismisses your feelings one more time. Maybe someone you love looks at your pain and says, "You're overreacting." You feel the heat rise in your body, the tremble of something sacred waking up. You can't unfeel it anymore. It's not madness. It's memory, the memory of every time you were told to hush, to behave, to forgive without being asked. That's when the empath gets angry. And it's terrifying, isn't it? You were never taught how to hold that kind of power. You were told anger is dangerous, ugly, shameful. But this isn't the kind of anger that burns the world. This is the kind that finally lights your own path. It's the kind that says, "I am done pretending this doesn't hurt." You start to notice how often you've apologized for existing. How many times you've said sorry when someone else crossed your line. You see how much of your life was built on survival, being nice so no one would leave, being calm so no one would explode, being understanding so no one would call you difficult. You start to see that you've been parenting the world, when all along, the child inside you was the one needing love. That realization breaks something open. You begin to cry, not from weakness, but from recognition. You realize anger was never the enemy, suppression was. Anger was always trying to protect you, but you kept locking it away because you thought good people don't get mad. Now you see it for what it truly is, the body's truth, the heart's rebellion against self-abandonment. You begin to speak differently. You stop cushioning your words with self-blame. You stop explaining your worth. You say no, and you don't over-explain it. You stop rescuing people from the consequences of their own actions. And for the first time, your energy returns. Your laughter feels different. Your silence becomes power instead of punishment. That's when you realize the paradox. Your anger is not the destruction of your empathy. It's its evolution. It's the moment your compassion turns inward, where it always belonged. You begin to see that real peace isn't about keeping everyone happy, it's about not betraying yourself to maintain harmony that never included you. So when the empath gets angry, they don't become cruel, they become whole. When the empath begins to reclaim their anger, the world reacts. People who once depended on your endless understanding start to shift in discomfort. They call you cold, distant, or different. They tell you you've changed and they're right. You have. But what they really mean is, you've stopped being convenient. You've stopped existing as the cushion for their chaos. You've stopped offering softness to those who only ever took. And yet, beneath the guilt, something beautiful starts to happen. You begin to remember yourself. The little moments that used to bring you joy, a quiet morning, the sound of rain, the peace of your own company, start to matter again. You no longer rush to explain your emotions. You let silence speak for you. You start saying, I don't owe you that. And it feels like liberation disguised as rebellion. This is where the transformation deepens. Because real healing doesn't always look graceful. Sometimes it looks like tears after setting a boundary. Sometimes it sounds like silence after years of chasing closure. Sometimes it feels like losing people who can't stand your strength. But what you're really losing is the version of yourself who thought you had to earn love by bleeding for it. You start realizing that your anger was never against others. It was against your own self-abandonment. It was your soul crying out, why did you let them stay when they kept hurting you? It was the part of you that knew you deserved more, begging to be heard. And here's the secret most people miss. When the empath gets angry, they don't destroy the world, they finally build one they can live in. One where peace isn't forced. One where love isn't currency. One where kindness doesn't mean self-erasure. You start to see your anger as sacred. You hold it, not as a weapon, but as a compass. It points you back to yourself every time you start to drift. Every time you feel that old pull to fix someone who's not ready to heal, your anger whispers, don't. Every time you want to explain your pain to someone who mocks it, your anger says, walk away. And with each act of self-respect, your light grows steadier, not softer, but truer. You learn that empathy without boundaries is self-destruction, and boundaries without empathy are walls. But when the two meet, that's balance, that's maturity. That's love that no longer needs to suffer to feel real. You become the storm and the calm at once, the fire and the stillness. And you finally understand that true compassion sometimes says no, because real love for yourself and others isn't about pleasing. It's about truth. And truth, when spoken from a healed place, doesn't wound. It frees. There's a quiet revolution that begins inside you when you stop apologizing for your anger. It's not the loud kind, it's subtle, dignified, almost serene. The kind of peace that comes after a long storm when you realize you survived not because you stayed calm, but because you finally said no more. You start to see the patterns of your old life with startling clarity. The friendships built on your compliance. The relationships where your love was measured by how much pain you could endure. The family dynamics where silence was safer than truth. You see how you mistook endurance for strength and peacekeeping for wisdom. But now, with your anger no longer locked away, you see what those roles really were, cages made to look like kindness. And you forgive yourself. For every time you said yes when your body screamed no, for every apology you gave to keep someone comfortable, for every version of you that disappeared so others could stay. Forgiveness takes time, but it begins with understanding. You didn't know better then. You were surviving. You were keeping love close in the only way you knew, by shrinking. And now that you've awakened, you realize survival isn't the same as living. Living requires truth, and truth often sounds like anger before it becomes wisdom. People may not understand this transformation. They may call you selfish, dramatic, detached, but you don't flinch anymore. You've learned that people who benefit from your silence will always label your voice as aggression. Let them. Because your rage is no longer wild, it's sacred. It doesn't want revenge. It wants restoration. You start loving differently, more intentionally. You don't give to be needed, you give because it feels aligned. You no longer try to rescue those drowning in their own denial. You let them swim or sink on their own terms. And that's not cruelty. That's respect for their journey and yours. In this new space, your empathy becomes something fierce and clean. It no longer leaks from unhealed wounds. It flows from boundaries. You can sit with someone's pain without making it your own. You can love deeply without disappearing. You can say, "This isn't mine to carry," and mean it. You begin to attract people who meet you where you are, not because you bend, but because you stand tall. You start to feel a quiet joy in saying no. You realize how much peace that one word can bring. And you discover that real connection doesn't demand your exhaustion. It welcomes your wholeness. That's when the final shift happens. You realize your anger was never something to fear. It was the guardian of your truth. It came to burn away everything false, to make room for the real. It came to teach you that love without self-respect isn't love at all. It's longing dressed in light. And as the smoke clears, what remains isn't bitterness. It's clarity. It's freedom. It's you, unmasked, unafraid, and unapologetically alive. There comes a day when you wake up and realize that the fire inside you no longer burns to prove anything. It simply warms you. You've made peace with your anger, not by silencing it, but by listening. You understand now that every time you felt rage, your soul was saying, "I deserve better." Every time you cried after setting a boundary, you weren't weak. You were rewiring your entire sense of worth. And that's what healing really is. Not becoming untouchable, but becoming true. Not losing your softness, but learning when it's safe to show it. You no longer chase understanding from those who can't meet you. You don't need them to see your heart to know it's pure. You've stopped auditioning for love. There's a new calm in your presence now, not because you're detached, but because you're grounded. You've learned to pause before reacting, to breathe before explaining, to walk away before collapsing. You've learned that protecting your peace doesn't mean you've stopped caring. It means you finally care about yourself too. And in that space, your empathy transforms. It becomes wiser, sharper, almost luminous. You still feel deeply, maybe even more than before, but now you choose where to place that feeling. You give love where it can grow. You speak truth where it can land. You rest when your soul asks for silence. You've learned that you don't need to carry people to love them. The empath who once feared anger now understands its purpose. It wasn't there to destroy your light, it was there to protect it. It was the doorway back to your own strength. The rage that heals isn't loud, it's steady. It's the heartbeat of someone who finally refuses to betray themselves. And maybe that's what Jung meant, that our wholeness lives in the places we avoid. For the empath, wholeness begins in the fire we feared most. Anger isn't the opposite of love. It's love's final stand the moment it demands dignity, respect, and truth. So if you've ever felt too kind for this world, too forgiving, too tender, know this. Your softness was never the problem. Your silence was. Let your compassion roar when it needs to. Let your heart defend itself when it must. You can be kind and still say no. You can be gentle and still be powerful. You can love and still walk away. Because the empath who learns to burn no longer fears their own flame. If this spoke to you, stay close. There are more truths waiting to be remembered. Share this, not because it's mine, but because someone out there needs to hear that it's okay to be angry. It's okay to stop apologizing. It's okay to finally come home to yourself. Thank you for listening, for feeling, for healing with me. And if this space felt like a mirror, don't forget to subscribe, to leave your thoughts, to stay connected, because in this small corner of the world, your feelings are welcome. Your fire is safe.